Insert cool intro right here. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a cool intro yet. It's going to happen, though, eventually.
Oh, I thought we were going to do the break and skip over, man. I was trying to get in like you did on me the other day. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you what. I was going to throw that thing that I had planned, but I just feel like they're going to hit me with another licensing issue. It's from a movie. I don't even want to mess with it, man. You know how it goes, dude.
I'm beginning to wonder because, I don't know if they'll pick up on copyright stuff. Like, obviously, our creators in the Cowboy fan base, shout out to, Starboy from the Hitters, Macumba out there, Lady Vice and Star Status, Cowboys Connection up there in Ohio, they don't have the copyright stuff. I wonder if it goes through StreamYard, does it get picked up on Facebook like that?
It's possible. I mean, because even though we're going directly from StreamYard to Facebook, Facebook still picks up something. Just right. Like if you were to have something in the background, people try and put stuff in the background, that still gets hit. YouTube, at least you can get around. You get 30 seconds of copyrighted material you can play at a time. That's how some of these reaction shows are doing well. So, and I don't know if they fixed that or not. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming out and hanging out. The background and everything was kind of tossed together, but the idea I've had for this show has been going on since pretty much we started Square Grouper, which is really just a chilled out little version of just coming and hanging out and smoking a little bit, talking about some music, talking about some live music experiences you've had and things like that. Nothing too big, just relaxing, man. BG, what do you got going on over there, dude?
Man, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Y'all know the deal, baby. You know what I mean? It's OAT, the BDG group, man. We live with the Cannabis Cowboy. I told you we doing some things differently around these parts. So y'all need to make sure and turn on notifications. It's the first time that you're watching us because we do a whole lot of things differently over here in case you haven't figured that one out yet. But yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. Who we got on live with us, Ryan?
So far, we got Sarah checking in. It looks like we've got about 5 people on the line. But as of right now, I don't see anybody commenting just yet. Maybe they're over at StreamYard trying to jump in and get their name figured out and all that good stuff.
15 minutes, let these notifications go out. But, we got the early birds like Sarah. Shout out Sarah. She's coming up on her. She said her 40th birthday weekend around there on the NFL draft, man. So she got one of those brand new BDG edits that I got up over there. So I've really been posting from the BDG page in the group to try to get that traffic so you guys will see when I post over there in the group from that page. So some folks gonna miss it, and those folks that are catching it, they're taking advantage over there. Sarah was one of them. Appreciate you hanging out with us there. That's gang over there.
Jacob heard. You heard? Thanks for coming and hanging out, Jacob.
Heard? I know he heard.
He heard what's going on. Again, so just real quick, we're gonna have some people coming in and hanging out. We can have up to, I think, about 10 people coming and chilling out in this little smoke session, music session we're about to do right now. What I would like everyone to understand, though, is make sure you've got quiet in your background. Make sure you can at least not have screaming kids and dogs and your cattle stampeding and all that good stuff. If you can do that, we can have you inside the session where we can talk and at least listen to what we're saying, because, we're going to be enjoying a little bit of cannabis during this. And I don't want a whole bunch of distractions. I don't want everybody freaking out. I don't want everyone just trying to talk over each other. So without further ado, BG, what are you smoking? I for one, picked up something I've never tried before from Good Chemistry called Mendo Purps, which is from Mendo, California. So one of the original Purps, and it's probably one of the best indicas I've ever had. What do you got going on?
Man, I'm telling you, there's something about that color purple with me. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about pink. I ain't talking about the movie. I ain't talking about, Prince. None of that type of stuff. But I'm on that purple train wreck, man. I'm back on that Legend strain. It's that sativa. So I caught me a couple of ounces on one visit, thanks to you getting me that medical license, that medical registered card over here in the state of Washington. So for those that are coming up on here, like he just posted a post the other day, says, if you're not growing yet, why are you not? Or if you're not even registered yet, why are you not? I could walk out legally with 2 ounces where the normal legal shopper limit is only 1 ounce. But I'm on that purple train wreck today by Legends. Shout out to Pacific Northwest Cannabis Connection there. Y'all know what it is.
Nice.
So that's my home base over there. They know I exclusively shop with them. And it's in a hemp wrap. You know what I mean? I got it in a pineapple hemp wrap. So we doing everything, purple and yellow, kind of the Lakers color. So stay tuned, man. It's gonna be purple stuff with BG, baby. We getting there.
Gambler, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in again. I appreciate it. We got Richard Calderon on the line coming and hanging out. What's up? That's right. I'm from Miami. I roll my R's. What's up?
That's my boy Richard, man. Me and him served in the Navy a few years back. What up, Rich?
So it looks like we got somebody hanging out right now. It's our friend Bat Zeus. Hey Zeus, up in the house. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Man,
How's it
he seen the
going?
notification go out, man. He seen the signal go up, and there comes Bat Zeus.
Right? It calls me.
So what do you got going on today, man?
Oh man, just chilling. I was chilling. Have my kids today, so I just want to stop by and say what's up. Can't really smoke today, you know.
Right,
Gotta
right.
be-
You know the
Yeah,
rules.
Bobby.
You know the rules, but we got a VIP. We're allowed to slide you in because you're VIP. So I knew exactly what you had going on before you came in.
All
Gang,
the
gang.
gang VIP,
Gang,
whether
gang.
they smoke or not. You know what I mean? That's gang
Yes,
gang.
sir. Yes, sir.
I'll
How
tell you
you
what,
guys been?
I'm doing good. Real quick before you, you're probably going to make it a little shorter since you're not going to be smoking outlaws. Do you have a favorite concert? You have a favorite live music show you've seen, a band you've seen that you just can't get out of your head, man? A lot of people don't go to concerts, so.
So I had the privilege to actually I was dating a girl back in the day, and her cousin's actually E40's road manager.
Whoa.
So I got to hang with 40 in them. They came out to Boise, Idaho, man. Dude, I tell you what, you want to smoke big time, man. Short and 40, dude.
I bet.
Yeah, I was just like,
You know what I'm saying? E40, you know what I'm saying? Fonza really, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it is. That's the click
Yeah.
out there, baby.
Yes, sir.
Poppy collar, baby. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So yeah,
man.
I had the privilege to hang out with them, and I got the privilege to. I don't know if you guys know Soja,
Yeah.
Soja.
Mhm.
So I got to see him in concert too, and man, one of the best concerts I've ever been to, man.
That's pretty big, man.
That's what's up,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, sir. But like I said, I just wanted to say, what's up, fellas? Miss you guys. Hey, that was a great package you gave over to your buddy over there, man. I saw that. I was like, ooh.
It just happened to coincide. He was going to get something anyway, but it coincided with me pulling the bud that I harvested a little bit early. I know he already gone to Good Chemistry, but I wanted to at least say, hey, if you're going to follow the Cannabis Cowboy, at least have some of the cannabis from the Cannabis Cowboy. And I wanted to make sure he left with some of that. He got some beans too, in case he wants to start doing what I do. So yeah, 100%, man. I'm just trying to take care of the people that take care of me, dude.
Right, for sure, man. Like I said, let's stay positive, gang, and let's go Lakers, Cowboys all day long, baby. You know it.
All right, man.
What's up, Zeus? Appreciate you hanging out, baby.
Hey, we'll see you, man.
Be well, dude.
You too.
Ching.
BG, what about you, man? So I've been to so many, and if I had to go and talk about them all, it would be just stupid long, man. But is there any shows that you've been to? Any live music shows you've been to? That you?
Yeah, I've been to a few out. I've been to a few out here. You know what I mean? I live out in this city in Washington State called Puyallup, and it's actually behind an Indian tribe, and they actually own a big casino out here called Emerald Queen Casino. And they just did a revamp. Some of y'all may have seen me post in story modes there. You know, I like to visit frequent casinos. You know what I'm saying? You know, do shit like that. But yeah, we seen Keith Sweat over there. We seen.
Oh shit!
I'll tell you, the first concert I ever went to is in a place me and you talk about frequently on here in ATX at the Frank Irwin Center.
Oh shit!
Austin. And that was the Triple Threat tour. Remember that word, Triple Threat, baby? That was BBD. You know what I'm saying? That was Keith Sweat, and that was Johnny Gill. How many of y'all remember that? I'm gonna put
Holy shit! All right, hold on. All right, so we already know right away that the ratio from panties to not panties at that particular concert was definitely probably 90% no, 10% yes. Did you go there with somebody? Were you with your wife? Were you with somebody?
Bro, my homeboy who is gone now, he was a Marine. Rest in peace. My boy, we went to school together named Michael Gomez. He actually turned me on to that. And I was just out there as a tag along. I would think I was too young. Somehow we wound up there. And I was just like watching the stage, like at the show. I wasn't there on the other side show shit. You know what I mean?
Right. That's still pretty crazy, man. That's a lineup right there, man. If you know anything about the 90s R&B, man, that's the gods right there. You know, we're talking about New Edition turning right into BBD. That's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, that was the hot when Poison was hot, and then the jean strap overalls. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about.
For real. Richard Calderon, we just said what's up. Gambler had a question real quick about cannabis, and of course I'll hit the brakes anytime somebody says to me that they got a question about cannabis. I'm down to answer it. I'm just down to answer it. Do the smells?
I love when you drive.
Do the smells and terpenes come out in the cure process, or if they didn't smell and flower, they just won't? That's actually an awesome question, and that's something that I had to actually figure out myself with my current grow, because Northern Lights always has sort of this grassy sort of leafy smell to it. Even though what I have is Northern Lights mixed with Afghan, the Afghan will sort of make it at least smell a little piney or fruity. But I was worried about that. So the deal is this: if at the very first week or so of your curing process, you're not smelling what you want to smell from your cannabis, it's either too wet or too dry. You need to find yourself a mini hygrometer, the one that tells you the percentage of relative humidity as well as the temperature, and throw that in there for about 4 hours and see what that comes out at. You want to stay at 60% relative humidity and right around 60 degrees or less. So if you don't have that, what's going to happen is you're going to basically be cooking your cannabis inside whatever you're curing it in. You don't want that. If it's too wet, you need to take it out and dry it, and then start the curing process again, because once you put it in there and keep curing it, the longer you do that, the less and less chance you have of recovering any of those terpene smells or any of the stuff that you really like. So get it right. Get the drying and the drying of it right, however you decide to dry it, whether it's wet trimming and then hanging, whatever. Get that right, and then the cure process will be much easier for you. But if you put it in there too wet, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you put it in there too dry, you're going to have a lot of problems. Boom. That's free advice. I'll bill you later. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
I got a question for the gambler though. If one is named the gambler on YouTube, I mean, what type of gambling do you specialize in? Quiet minds want to know.
I don't know. Maybe he posts stuff that goes against community standards.
That's what I want to know. I see he got some charts and shit on his. You know what I mean? I like numbers. You know what I mean? I like factual information.
Yeah, maybe he's doing something that we don't know about.
Man, I don't know. It's a network here, baby. That's what we do over here at the BDG, especially on the session, man. Who is out there smoking right now? Y'all share this with your friends that know that smoke 24/7 in the quarantine. Like this guy. Oh, look, I got it right the first time. This guy over here, the Cannabis Cowboy. You know what I mean? We getting in the gym over here, baby. We working it out.
As soon as we get it right, we switch squares, and then we got to do it the other way. But
yeah, I'm just learning to go opposite. You know what I mean? Then you want to initially go.
So. Not too long ago, well, actually a year ago, but not too long ago, Neil Peart, the drummer for Rush, passed away.
One quarantine ago.
Yeah, pretty much one quarantine ago. Neil Peart was one of the reasons why I picked up drums. I've been drumming since I was a kid. Took a long time off because I didn't have the ability to have a set or anything like that. For the last 8 years, I picked it up and felt the love that I felt, but I needed to make sure that if I was going to do a show about music, live music, whatever we're doing, it had to incorporate Rush in the very first one. Obviously, there's a T-shirt I wore from one of the first ones I saw. That's actually Red Rocks. The first Rush show I saw at Red Rocks. First time I ever saw Rush was in Miami, Florida, I believe, for their Presto tour, or Roll the Bones. I always get it mixed up. But I had to incorporate that in some way. That loss, Neil Peart, was one of the biggest losses to the rock community. Anybody who knows that saw the outpouring on Facebook of how bands from A to Z were like, this man is the genius. You might be able to play like Neil, but you'll never be able to create like Neil. So I wanted to make sure that I threw some love in there. And actually, the background picture is from the Snakes and Arrows tour, if I'm not mistaken. This is in the middle of Red Barchetta. You can see the little road. So I got a lot of pictures on my personal Facebook profile from all those shows, and my brother Bill is a massive fan as well. And I just had to give a shout out to that band because that's one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my entire life, man. I don't know, man. Rush is one of the greatest. Dog,
can I share something with you, little person?
All day.
Going back to Rush, man, you just took me back because there's two words that I associate with Rush. You know what I mean? Because my father, was a drummer. You know what I'm saying? He was an Army veteran too, dealt with PTSD. You know what I'm saying? He also used medical marijuana. You know what I mean? But Tom Sawyer, dog, my dad, boy, it was one song he could play drums to. It was that one, and I used to just get off watching him because he just would get into it, and I would always listen to the song, and he had it down pat. But that solo and that shit, man, I'm gonna tell you what, boy. If anybody knows anything about Rush and don't know nothing else, you know Tom.
Anybody who knows about Rush knows, and if they don't know, I'll tell you right now, that is one of the songs that Neil Peart did not like to play. He regretted what he did in the studio with that song because of the hi-hat work is massive throughout the whole song. Your right hand, depending on how you're playing, if you're right-handed, you're going to play that with the right hand. That right hand is going like that almost the entire song. And he, in many interviews, has said, I wish I would have slowed that down. I wish I would have maybe cut the hi-hat in half.
Bro, it's like a roller coaster ride, man. It's like an adrenaline rush. The highs, the lows, and then it builds the crescendos. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are the musicians out there.
You know, it's one of those things. You know, when I first started playing in a band called SWAT, and it was the acronym SWAT. It was severe wear and tear, and that was me and my buddy Tony and my buddy Eddie, and they both played bass and guitar and sang. I'm not going to tell you that they sang great, and neither will they, but they both were great bassists and guitarists among themselves. And we would always try and stay that 3-piece formula, even though we played a lot of metal, a lot of Anthrax, Metallica and stuff from back in the days that you remember. Back when you were able to go to keg parties, when we were playing them, is basically what I'm trying to say. And that's what we tried to do. We tried to stay 3 people at all times, just because we love Rush so much. We were like, we're going to try and figure out a way to do it. And obviously we weren't Rush caliber, but for the years that we had that band going, it was formed and stayed a 3-piece specifically because of Rush and just aspiring to want to do what 3 Canadians could do that no one else in the damn world could possibly do.
Isn't it just great how music can connect? You know, we've seen this with the Cowboy fan base. You don't know Asshole Jim from the day, but you see him with the Cowboy gear, and you say, hey, what up? How about the Cowboys? Oh, what up with the boys? And bam, you know what I mean? It's automatic. Music the same way. Like we just shared, you know what I mean? This wasn't pre-planned, you know what I mean? This Rush connection, I think that was pretty organic. You know what I mean? But isn't it crazy how, you know, music can mesh folks together from all walks of life, just like the tree can?
You know, and it's crazy because growing up in Miami, I don't know any different. And what I mean by that is, anyone who's from the 305, I'm going to take you back to 1980s, 1990s, when you had some stereotypical names for people. Now, this isn't a racial, well, it may be a little racial. You've got your housers, which are the people who like the house music. You've got your burnouts, which are the people who liked heavy metal, smoked cigarettes on the side of school. Some people were called bros, which would be sort of like your Hispanic dance music, sort of like maybe Luke Skywalker liking kind of folks. But no matter what, we all went to the same school and we were always friends with each other. So we would always wind up going to the same concerts because there was, you know, even though you might have listened to Iron Maiden, you probably liked something from JJ Fad, who, by the way, I think I was thinking of somebody else, but it was always this crossover between us. So you would find these metal and rock guys at hip hop shows and maybe dance shows and whatever their motivation to be there.
I mean, I thought, you know, Run DMC did it best with Tyler Perry, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, it was just one of those things in Miami that you know, you kind of grew up going to different kinds of shows because the music was just, you know, you wanted to be part of the culture out there, and you just wind up going. You'd go to a new wave concert with the same people who would be at a Slayer show, and it was just real crazy like that. So you're correct, I think that was really a pretty interesting facet of Miami, Florida. Speaking of which, I've got somebody hanging out right now. It definitely looks like he's chilling out right now, Mr. Riles, my brother Riles, Bill. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Bill?
What's going on?
Brothers in the house, man. You know what I mean? If you cut anything like this guy next to me right here, man, we family.
Yeah. Well, he's cut from my mold.
I was gonna say he's 4 years older than me, so that was gonna happen regardless. And I was just talking. Obviously, you probably heard of kind of the melting pot of the way Miami was when we were growing up. You've got probably the same kind of show memories as I have because we've been to a lot of the same shows, but you've actually been to a shitload of the ones that I haven't been to. So, what was your first show? And then so far, what is your favorite show? I think I can guess what your favorite show can be, but what was your first show?
I'm going to say it was probably Dio.
Like what, 83, 80?
It was 84. It was either Dio or Motley Crue Rat, something like that.
Holy shit. All right.
Hollywood Sporto.
Sportatorium, for those of you that don't know the history of the Sportatorium, it was called the Snortatorium. You could literally just get away with doing blow at that place and really not get fucked with.
Oh, yeah.
It was an insane place. I never been there. I can only tell you about the stories of it. But so having said that, what's your favorite show to date?
Oh shit. Oh, Time Machine, Rush, every fucking Tool show I've ever seen. Shit. Off the top of my head, that's what I can probably tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Time Machine's up there. I made sure that I had to include them in this part, in some part of today's show, like I did, obviously. My Time Machine tour shirt is fucking beat up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe the moths got to it, but I couldn't wear that one, so I'm wearing this one. But you were at that show with me, and that shit was pretty epic, man. And I needed to mention Rush in this particular show because if we're talking about music and especially cannabis, because a lot of people don't think of them as like a pothead band, but they were fucking smokers, man.
Passage to Bangkok.
Passage to Bangkok. So and I don't know if I mentioned it. You might have seen on if you watch Square Groupers, I think I mentioned it. But my first show was at the Orange Bowl, Michael Jackson Victory Tour with the Jackson 5.
Yeah, I skipped that one.
I remember our sister-in-law bought me those tickets for my birthday, and that shit was pretty crazy, man. I was big.
Probably went with your red jacket.
Either the red one or the black one. I was rocking it, man. You got to know it. So BG said he went to the Frank Irwin Center?
You know it, man. Right downtown Austin, right over there by 6th Street.
Frank Irwin Center, man. Let me tell you, I had never been so frustrated in my entire life going to a concert. You can't smoke shit at that place. I did not get away with anything, man. I got caught 2 times trying to spark at that place, and after I just cringed every time I knew there was a show going there, just because I couldn't smoke when I was there. There was a lot of limited venues in Austin, Texas, too, man. So Frank Irwin was pretty much it, unless you could book it somewhere else.
Like I said, it was kind of like a virgin type of event for me. So I was just totally there to watch the show. I didn't know anything else about what was going on. Like had no kind of problem. So you know what I mean? I was just trying to get to the function.
Yeah, and cannabis and weed is pretty much synonymous with concerts back in Miami, Florida. It was just a mainstay. What was the first concert you smoked at, Bill?
Jesus Christ, dude.
I know. And it's because I have such a sick memory. I can answer it, answer, but I can't really trust anyone else to come up with it.
Well, I've been smoking since 1984, so
right.
Probably whatever that Snortatorium, we could do anything we wanted.
Right. So
I saw people smoking crack at the Snortatorium, so nobody cared. So probably somewhere in 84, one of those, probably the O thing, or Iron Maiden, possibly like 85.
All right, that makes sense. I think I happen to. What about you, BG?
What's that?
First time you smoked cannabis at a show?
You know what I mean? Like I've not really smoked at a show before. Like I said, I was virgin kind of thing. You know what I mean? I've gone to some later in life, but you know what I mean? I was in the military all those number of years, so this just didn't pick up for me until a couple of years ago. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. Yeah, I guess. And you were obviously occupied during those times. That kind of makes sense.
I won't say that I didn't partake. I'll just say that, you know, we get caught.
88 was mine, and Bill, I know I don't want to mention any members, but it was with a member. It was one of Mom's friends that took me to see Robert Plant in 1988, and I remember smoking for the first time there with somebody who was not a friend of mine. That was more of like a family friend, which is pretty crazy. But
88, which tour was that? Was that the Plant Cheap Trick, or was that 87?
This is.
Because I saw all the plants.
July 14th, 1988.
Oh, that's right. He got all them stubs, man.
Was that at the Miami Arena?
Let me see. Yes, it sure was.
I wonder how many other folks are out there like you, Bonnie.
That show
right there.
Besides your brother, I'm talking about other folks. It just made me think, man, I know there's other youths out there. Like, really.
You know, I go to concerts with my buddy Jay. We go with Bill because Bill lives out here. So it's, you know, Jay Badnell, my brother that we talk about a lot, a good friend of mine we grew up with. He's like us. I don't know if he saves as many stubs as I do. Yeah. I don't know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people that are as stupid crazy about concerts as me and my brother. So
I have about 90% of my stubs.
Yeah, man. What's tough too is if, you know, anybody who's a concert head like we are, it will tell you that the sort of the modernization of the ticket stub is bullshit. Considering that you print it out now, it really makes it sort of just, I think, less authentic, less cool, less, you know, when you can look back on some of the old, like obviously the first 5 I have say Cellar Door on it, Bill, because that's the right. Production and booking company in South Florida at the time. But just to be able to hold that is cool. Nowadays, you just print it or you have it on your phone. So most of the shows, the tickets that I don't have tickets to were because they were phone only. And I just couldn't find a way to print that out, which is also a pretty weird modernization of new concerts. I don't really know. Some
bands allow you to email them, and they will let you download a ticket that looks better than the shitty paper one we have to get off the printer.
Oh, that's dope.
That's
insider info right there. Shit.
I think I wound up saving some of those files too on in my emails. Like I have emails I go back really far just in case I lost it. I can go back to that email and at least print it out. But still, the little tiny ones, those are just a lot cooler because then you can frame them in some certain ways. Now you got basically a whole freaking page, which is bullshit.
I heard you, Bobby, talking about how rap and metal in Miami was really huge, and we would go to rap shows. Rappers would come to the metal shows.
Yes.
And I think BG talked about Aerosmith and Run DMC, which was big. But I thought Anthrax, Public Enemy was the one that really crossed over to get metalheads going to rap shows and vice versa.
Yeah, 100%.
I know they did one, but there's some shit about PE I just skipped. Like I really wasn't a PE fan like that. But that didn't surprise me. You know what I mean? I just remember Walk This Way because I was growing up. Because my father, like I said, he's a drummer and listened to fucking Tyler Perry his whole career. That was like an instant bond for me and him because, like you said, it crossed paths.
Right. It had a lot to do with the fact, and it was pretty much two elements that really made it so freaking big. That particular song, Run DMC and Aerosmith, it had a lot to do with Run DMC was fucking huge at the time, so whatever they did was gold. The fact that Jam Master Jay used to always cut the beginning of that song, like that had everything to do with it. And then I think there was sort of this weird collaborative, like, hey, we're gonna bring Steven Tyler in one day to fucking do this for you, and they were like, word. They didn't really give
word on the street was they didn't want to do that shit. You know what I mean?
Really?
I think the backstory. You know what I mean? I watched that. I think it's the Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix or something like that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Until he saw the video.
But back to what Bill was saying. Look at that boy. I'm getting good at this shit. Look, back to what Bill was saying.
It's good with
what song was that with PE? I want to go listen to that shit now. What is
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise.
Oh, duh. Okay. I didn't even know they was in that shit.
All right, so it was obviously that's a Public Enemy song, right? Yeah. But it had everything to do with the fact that I think wasn't Anthrax on Def Jam at the time, or was it?
Yeah, Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin was the creator of all that.
Rick Rubin got all the categories.
Rick Rubin, really. Now, again, we could talk for 10 hours about what the fuck he did to early hip hop, but really, and if we're talking about on the subject, what Bill is kind of expounding on is the mixture of the metal and rap. I mentioned it too on one of the last shows. Public Enemy was the first band I ever heard to sample Slayer. And I was saying, She Watched Channel Zero. That was the one where they sampled Angel of Death, I believe. And
Beastie Boys had Slayer, had Kirk and Kerry King on a couple of their songs, I think, too.
Yeah, you're Fight for Your Right to Party, that the guitar solo in that, right? Wasn't that Kerry King?
Yep. No shit.
Yeah, so that, if you look back,
all kind of shit hanging out with y'all shit.
But I think what Bill is saying is right, because my point was that it was sort of like a pop thing, having Run DMC, who became, even though they weren't, they became sort of like the pop icon of hip hop. But then so did Aerosmith when it came to rock and roll, because in the 90s they wound up morph into this sort of girl rock band.
It's a fine example of influencers trying to tap other folks' markets.
Yeah. Rick Rubin was doing it more from I think a more artistic point of view than really the guys who might have been pushing the buttons on Walk This Way. But no doubt. And there's a soundtrack to the movie Judgment Night, which I always reference. Judgment Night was a real bad movie. It starred Emilio Estevez and Eric Schrody, aka Everlast, who played one of the main thugs in it. And it was like Emilio Estevez gets caught like downtown Chicago without guns, and these gangs start hunting him. It's the worst fucking movie in the world. But the soundtrack was like Ice-T and Slayer, Pearl Jam and Mudhoney. And so
I love me some Ice-T though.
So if you look the Judgment Night soundtrack up, that was really one of the catalysts to sort of that rap hip hop thing that started getting real big later with like Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. So there was always sort of like these evolutions of that music, because no matter what, like Bill was saying, I think even though we all like the different kinds of music, being able to go to different kinds of shows was not a problem. Maybe not so much now. I don't know. I think.
What's crazy is how fucking woke Chuck D was then, before people knew what the fuck woke was.
Yeah, for him to be able to say, hey, hey, what's up, Anthrax? And then if you listen to the song, you hear Scott Ian actually rapping a pretty intricate part of the song that Chuck D raps, but he really talks like this. Never batted it, like it's funny because he's a Jersey. He's not trying to do anything but sound like Scott Ian from Anthrax, which is what's beautiful about it. But then Charlie Benante from the drummer for Anthrax kind of breaks it down at the end too. So they all have, it's all really badass. And I agree with Bill. It really is sort of like the one that made me go, fuck, man, this is pretty sick, dude. And it's just,
they were both fans of each other's bands too, believe it or not.
yeah, because if you listen and I think the reason why they might have chosen that song is because there is one line in there where Chuck D says wax is for Anthrax, still it can rock bells. And that is really, I think, where they were like, since we mentioned Anthrax in that song, why don't we just use this song and see if Anthrax wants to do it? It could have been any number of songs. I would have liked to have heard, honestly, like, maybe Not a Living Bassheads or something would have been pretty cool to hear him do that. But I don't know. It's still a pretty badass tune. Yeah. Leslie Ann Donaldson, I love collaboration. Yeah, because it's basically mashups now, but those are fake. I mean, best band in the world is Guns N' fucking Roses. All right. And if there's no Guns N' Roses fan that would be like, that sentence isn't true, because there's no half-ass GNR fans as far as I'm concerned.
Do you want to hear my Guns N' Roses story?
Yes. Yes, you're the fucking concert guru, man. It's the reason I'm trying to catch up.
This is November 1987. Motley Crue released Girls, Girls, Girls. Guns N' Roses opened for them at the Sportatorium. I worked my way up to the front row, and they were so fucking loud, and Axl was so awful. I had my hands over my ears, and I was like, get the fuck off the fucking stage. You guys suck. Where's Motley Crue? Okay?
Wow.
Flash forward like 6 months later, we finally heard Appetite for Destruction. We're like, this is the fucking greatest band in the world. And then I ended up going to their New Year's Eve show at Joe Robbie Stadium. I think it was $89.90, going into $89.90, or I think something like that. I ended up paying like $100 a ticket and thinking, what the fuck was I thinking? Front row with my hands over my ears with Guns N' Roses. But I still laugh about it.
You got tinnitus?
What was that?
You got tinnitus, Bill?
No, I just didn't want to fucking hear how bad Axl was screaming.
No, I just want to know if you have it now from all these concerts, because I know Bill over here. Look at him get good. You know what I'm saying?
Tinnitus just hard of hearing.
Oh, okay. I thought he said he did it because he got all the concerts he went to. I mean, I'm prior military, so I got that shit that's just ringing now. You know what I mean? So I wanted to see if he was ringing too.
Funny you should say that. I just started bringing earplugs to certain shows.
I was just going to say that. I was just about to say that. I'm like, Bill is the reason why I think I started using it, because I started saying, damn, if it's time for Bill to start having that happen, then
it's a good safety measure, man. I'm gonna tell you, that shit is not fun when you're trying to go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? I already told you I sleep with the heater and the fan on, but that fan's on for 2 reasons. I got to have that humming noise. I got that ringing noise.
Yeah.
White noise. Yeah, I'm the same way. My wife's the same way too, man. It's definitely, and I don't know. She's been to a lot of sporting events too, but yeah, that's tough, man.
I used to think it was a badge of honor. If my ears were not ringing when I got home, I was like, I didn't go to a good show.
All right.
That's just being stupid to me, I guess.
I think at some point you were probably right, actually. I think people were like saying that's pretty much how it was. I don't know now. I certainly don't feel that way. I've actually got earplugs and a pack of them. So holy shit. So Bill, what are you smoking on, man?
I have a 710 pod, Lemon Tart Pucker, 710 Labs. I also have a Dab Logic solventless card. I don't even know what it is. Something.
Who even knows at this point?
Yeah. No such thing as sativa anymore.
Bill got all them tools over there. Look at that. You got that Cookies shirt too, man. I like that Cookies sweatshirt.
Yeah, my company is a partner with Cookies in one of their dispensaries here in Denver.
Why did I not know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you did. There's just a lot of information to keep track with.
No, it's great. You know what I mean? That's like a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only time I was actually sort of exposed to it, Cookies, because otherwise I would have had to go to California to get it, was because of my brother.
I see.
There it is.
Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam.
I guess next time I go, they got it at Planet 13. Next time I go to Vegas, I'm gonna
Yeah, and so Bill, real quick, I know that we're since we're staying on a couple major subjects on the show, and I can do what the fuck I want. It's mine. Why do you think? What is your reasoning for the fact that there's really not going to be, or there really isn't any more sativa indica hybrid classifications?
Well, you can probably answer this better than I can, but it's all the cross genetics. Everybody's using the same phenotypes, trying to make a different plant. It ends up just kind of washing together.
Game of strains.
As far as I'm concerned, terpenes are what determines whether you get high or not. I tell people when they come into the shop, hey, I want the highest THC. I go, no, it has nothing to do with the highest THC. It's the terpenes in the plant. Can you name a strain that you like? I can look up the terpene profile, and then I can steer you towards that specific strain that will help you get high. And a lot of the times it's a sativa strain, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that.
I'll tell you, I'll win this right here now too. You know what I mean? I'm one of them guys that looks at the higher end strain. I'm always, I need 25 to 30. But I will tell you too, at the same time, there's been different effects. And then a lot of times, because it says it's higher, it doesn't have that type of effect, I guess.
Yeah, higher THC does not mean as much as, it means something, but it's not even close to what the terpenes will do for you than the THC level.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I know that terpenes are also, once they started getting to the point where folks were able to isolate them and then reintroduce them to concentrates and stuff like that, is when they really started blowing up, because the marketing of that was almost like having keef, if I'm being honest. No one really know, how do you localize a terpene? How do you centralize and localize a terpene? No one really could get their hand around it. But when you start realizing it has everything to do with the flavors, that's when people, and obviously that's the first thing I think of is flavors, but it is connected to how high you get from it. And, I think I'm more prone to myrcene or myrcene, however you say that one. I know that there's the pine and the coffee ones because I stay near Cush's, but the ones that I really like smelling are like strawberry, fucking bubbleberry, and those are all sativas, and I don't smoke those. So
yeah, and I tell you, I tell people to know those. If you smell a strain in the jar and you're like, wow, this smells good to you, that's the strain that's going to get you high, because of your endocannabinoid system, the smell will tell your brain, this is what I want.
Wow.
100%. What were you saying, BG?
No, I'm just saying y'all just got some mind blowing shit on here. Because what I was gonna say on the back end of it is, then why the hell do they market it that in that way, or is it just I've bought into that and it's not as such? What is the difference? I mean, we're saying we're learning all this inside information, but we're talking about from the strain.
I think I can speak. I'll speak from let's just say a grower or a street point of view, because we can definitely use my brother as a professional example for this in terms of in-dispensary information. You and I, all of us are kind of around the same age. We're not any more than 5 years older or younger than each other. So we grew up hearing about strains, Northern Lights, all this, yada, yada. So when we think automatically a feeling or a connection, our automatic feeling of connection is directly to a name or strain or something like that. This is at least what I'm saying. Okay. Younger people, I don't think are like that. I think if you're born into this legalization situation, you're already sort of like terpene forward, or maybe not just specific old school, but new school brands like Girl Scout cookies and even some of the newer strains that have been coming out. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we were more strain sensitive, and like my brother is saying, people aren't going to be like that anymore, because I think branding has to be something that has to be spoken about too when we're talking about the reason why that indica sativa hybrid designation is really not being used too much anymore. Because here's the deal: if you've got a strain that is Girl Scout cookies crossed with gelato, but you decide to call it Barney the Dinosaur, that's really where the end of that strain happens. Mm-hmm. So no longer does that classification or lineage get passed on to the consumer anymore if you don't give that information to the consumer. So the consumer can't say, all right, cool, dude, I really like Girl Scout cookies mixed with gelato, but for some reason when I go to this dispensary, it's called Barney the fucking Purple Dinosaur, and I don't understand that, and they won't tell me the lineage. The marketing is what's stopping them from telling you the lineage. And I think we spoke last week about Jay-Z getting into the game and how his cannabis is classified as like, happy or number one, and then it's like it's not even giving you lineage, and that's the part I'm terrified about. That's the reason why I started collecting so many genetics.
Well, at our dispensary, I make sure on the cards display has the strain. It tells you what the pheno is, what the cross is. And sometimes it has weird names, but I always let the customer know this is exactly the strain you're getting. Correct. It has a different name than Girl Scout cookies. They rename it something else.
Right. And that's
it's kind of like biting. It's kind of like biting off other. From a creator standpoint, it's kind of like biting off other people's content, a little here, a little there, instead of growing. You know what I'm saying? Your own shit from scratch. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know for a fact that if you have a specific type of flower that you grow that you can't get at other dispensaries, you want to keep that quiet. You might actually not want to disclose the whatever it's crossed with, because you might say to yourself, "I'm the first person that's done that," which is probably bullshit. But I know that some of the places that I know of would buy it and then rename it something else. But it's a business thing, man, and that's kind of the reason why you have to stay as a consumer. You have to stay informed. You have to ask that question. So hopefully, a dispensary that doesn't disclose that will eventually disclose it to you.
I have a strain at Diego, which is exclusive to Diego, called Colorado Cream Soda. I think I gave you some of that, Bobby. That's grown by Local Love, which is a huge Denver grow here.
I haven't had a bad nugget from those guys either.
It's fantastic. It's a hybrid, but the genetics are unknown.
Oh shit!
Unknown.
Really?
Tell us what it is, because it's such a good grow. So.
Yeah, and so there you go. That's case in point, dude. That's somebody protecting a fucking intellectual property in their eyes, where they're like, I might have been the first person to cross these two, but I decided to deprive them of this nutrient, so this happens, or something crazy like that. And that's insane, man.
Yeah,
it's a bit depressing, man.
Sell the shit out of it, though.
And there, my friends, is the real underlying theme. Wait, what did you just say, Leslie Ann? I think you may be mistaken.
Yeah, she is. She means regular people can't buy.
Oh,
yeah, it's medical only Florida now.
Regular people are cannabis users. Yeah, if you want to send me,
you get my point.
Yes, no, I was case in fucking point, no doubt. Hit me up on DM, and I'll give you some information on how to get medically legal in Florida, Leslie Ann Donaldson. That is what's going on now. But I don't know. Back to music. I think the cannabis and music connection is something that I've touched on in some way. Everything that we've talked about. It's been at every concert I've been to since I was a kid. It probably was at Michael Jackson, if I'm being honest, but because of who I was with, I probably wasn't looking at it. But the one thing that I do love about Denver, and I guess maybe Red Rocks amphitheater in particular, is the fact that it seems like no matter how many times I've been to a show out there, they always seem to pass you dubs at that place. It's one of the most cannabis friendly venues I ever been to, where it's almost like if they see you without a joint, they've got to give you one. So that's killing one of the other things that I realized that once I got here, the legalization had already been sort of into the culture and into the music scene, where even at clubs, we're smoking joints on the we were smoking at Eric B. and Rakim, right, Bill?
Yep.
We had huge cones, and we were in a fucking nightclub, like 2 feet in front of Rakim, just blowing huge cones. And I didn't need to look left and right, man. And that's kind of like, I can't wait till everyone's at that point, because most people are sitting at home doing that. They're listening to their jams with their headset and they're smoking. And that's the way, that's the way we all grew up. That's what I'm saying. That's it's tied into the culture when we were growing up. The headset, laying back, smoking a doob is that's the way you listen to the first time you buy an album.
Looking at the record, reading the credits and all that shit, and who did what on where and how.
The lyrics.
Yes,
the lyrics, or in some of the greatest Kiss albums, the open of the gatefold, and just the feeling that these guys are like mythical creatures, and you're just but an observer, and you have no choice but to be a follower. And that goes for a lot of shit, man. I looked up at Rakim the same way. I looked at Big Daddy Kane the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was in a metal band, paying the box $1.50 per video to watch fucking Eric B. and Rakim, because that's how much I love the music. And there was really none of this separation of any of that, man, and it almost seems like even though they did sort of bring those two genres together, there did become a split at some point, or you just don't see those particular crowds intermingling anymore. Hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming. We've had a few people, but nobody has decided to come and actually jump in with us, which is all right. It's all right, man. That's cool.
Don't be scared.
You don't got to be scared. Let me see if I have anybody trying to message me too, because that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, how about this? This is something that it's tough for me to admit, but BG, what's the most you've spent on a concert ticket?
Ah, man, on a concert. I mean, these concerts we go to with these folks that's been in the game for a while, like I was saying, Keith Sweat, Cedric the Entertainer, them folks that will come up here. A couple $100, $175 for top, for almost damn near front row.
Yeah, I had something queued up here, and now I don't. Production broke down on me, guys. I apologize. I don't know about Bill, but Bill was there with me, and I paid $3
Misfits
to see Misfits because I'm not silly, and they had not been around as a band since it was like 83, right? 82, I think they broke up.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where I'm like, I've got to go to this show. It was definitely worth it. It was 100% worth it. One of the greatest shows I've ever been to, and definitely, after I left, although I think there probably is a couple other shows that I think I got away with not spending a lot of money on, like some of those big multi shows, the Mayhem Festival and shit, where you probably could have spent $300 that you didn't. That sort of makes up for it. But yeah, the Misfits were a badass show, and for $300, I didn't cry too much about it. How do we join? Oh, what's up? Hold on, real quick. Let's see.
Starboy, man. I think I seen the Starboy comment up there. I don't know if he's still rocking with it. Shout out to Hard Hitters Worldwide Movement. Y'all know what it is.
BG, you gonna address the Built Different group real quick? I'm gonna get him in here. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, man. So, man, this has been great having y'all on. You know what I mean? It's like I said, I'm glad he's in the driver's seat. I get to sit over here and learn. Hell, I'm learning something every day, and that's what we do here at the Built Different group, man. We're building this shit differently around here. We're meshing music and sports. You know what I mean? We're opening up this page here to not only Dallas Cowboy faithful that's been here with us, rocking with us since 2016, but we're opening it up to those other 31 like we've been talking about here. So you don't have to be a fan of them boys, but you will see a heavy dose of that content. But we're also looking for other creators in them other 31 that can link up with us here. You know what I mean? So we can expand this market, because weed is for all NFL fans. You know what I mean? We want to link everybody up, man. So shout out to the Worldwide Movement, Hard Hitters.
I'm just going to go ahead and make the link completely 100% open, and we'll just see what we can do here. I want to see it kind of devolve into chaos, if I'm being honest. So I'm waiting for that shit to happen. But 400 floor seats at Lionel Richie. Damn. You know what? I think I'm saying, like, I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago. If that's what you're talking about, I came close to doing that at Red Rocks because just because me and my wife were like, we got to go, because he's going to do Commodores. He's going to do all the shit that, and Lionel's like Tom Petty. He has like 99 songs that everyone.
I would pay $400 to go see Lionel today.
Yeah, and I heard it was a decent show. I heard the Stevie Wonder show was not a decent show. Something happened with Stevie.
Hey, I will tell you, man, I've seen Keith Sweat up here multiple times, and I will tell you, he does not disappoint. Even at, the age that we're all at around about, you know what I mean? He's been doing it in the game for a number of years.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, he'll get drunk up on stage. You know what I mean? Like, he got a lot going on, big time show. So you get a chance to Keith Sweat out there, gets back up on the tours. When they come back out, y'all definitely got to go check him out, man.
That's the truth, man. He was an entertainer, man. Who we got in here? Looks like Starboy's knocking on the door. Starboy, what is up, man? How's it going, dude?
Hey, what's the business? You know what I'm talking about?
Coming and hanging out.
Yeah, I saw your boys educating everybody on strands. You know what I'm talking about? I tried to get you a couple extra viewers, but nobody from the group jumped in.
Starboy, you been to a lot of concerts in your life?
I've probably been to about 6. One of my first ones was Rage Against the Machine. I went with my cousin. We drove to Houston and just scalped some tickets. You know what I'm saying? I think we might have spent maybe like $120 a piece on some scalp tickets. It was a cool ass concert though. It was mosh pit and it was pretty live.
What year was that?
Oh God, 90 something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because I just want to know. I want to know what album that was. That's all I'm curious. I know. Me and my brother on the first tour they did, but they got big.
I think it was the first. The first tour.
Nice.
because it was probably a couple years before they broke up. So yeah, it probably was the first one. It was before they had the Godzilla soundtrack. So yeah, definitely probably the first one.
All right, damn.
Yeah.
You smoke a lot of weed, Adam? What's the first show you smoked at?
Well, I just recently went to the Wiz Khalifa Snoop Dogg one they had outside outside concert. Yeah, they were literally throwing joints out, lighting them and throwing them off the stage. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So yeah, we were pretty lit that day. A couple of hard hitters we went as a group, and yeah, they brought some stuff out. Yeah, we were high as I'll get out.
Cypress Hill used to do that all the time, just fucking chuck joints out of people. And I remember smoking.
Like I said, they're literally just lighting them and just throwing them in the crowd. I was like, throw it to me without it.
Right now, I was just gonna say, fucking do that, man.
They had these blow up joints that were like, you know, like you float on it in the pool type thing. They were flying around and everything. It was pretty cool venue.
Yeah, Leslie, and Penny Dropper Keith Sweat. That's what I was. I guess I was alluding to that without having to say it, but yeah, that's the truth. That's why I was asking BG if he brought anyone, if he was with a girl, because if not, you definitely left with one.
Oh no! It was already laid down. Don't be raising your hand. You're not gonna do that shit tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, it didn't happen like that. But no, he got a couple of folk, man. He had this one chick, man. I'm telling you why she said that. And, you know, it was all the way about probably 3/4 through the show. You know what I'm saying? Keith Sweat be rocking, man. He cut through all his shit. Like, he don't do all one song sets. Like, and he had background stage shit going on. You know what I mean? It's Keith Sweat, you know, like no other. But this girl was like, I got follow you everywhere, because he does certain shows at a lot of places up here in Washington State. Like, and she was like, I went to Yakima and seen you all of this. And Yakima is like the small town out in eastern Washington. He was like, well, all right, girl, then Yakima your ass on up on the stage.
Yakima your ass.
I was like, oh, hell no. But yeah, no, it's a live show, though, man. Yeah, definitely the penny drop.
Yeah, 100%, dude. That dude ruled the 90s R&B, man. 100%, dude. Anybody else wants to come in and hang out, man? We're sitting here talking music, talking weed, talking concerts, talking shit. What did you say? Did you just say Rod Stewart with Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah, that was a few years back. He toured with her.
That is insane. I've never heard of that. That's pretty fucking crazy. You know, I guess you're right though, because for about 5 years, that whole nostalgia package was blowing up pretty well. We caught on to a couple of them. At least the 70s. Went to one of those kind
Speaking of changing up something a little bit different, talking about technology, going back to, you know what I mean, a few months ago, we seen this during the quarantine. Ain't it beautiful how old music came back to life through technology when it came to Fleetwood Mac?
I don't know, man. Let me tell you that Stevie Nicks is my first crush. I wrote a mural on my wall, a big giant Fleetwood Mac logo. I mean, they've been a part of my life forever, but to see that they've lasted as long as they did, knowing that they did it at least for a good portion of time without Lindsey Buckingham, one of the reasons why they were as good as they were, is pretty crazy. And my brother can jump on that too, because we are both fucking enormous fans, and you know, they were pretty much a staple, man.
Bro, that stock has shot up since then. You know what I mean? If y'all follow that dude that did that viral TikTok video, you know what I'm saying, behind that, you know what I mean? That dude he just did a show with Snoop. Talking about Snoop a while ago. You know what I mean? That dude's still relevant. But yeah, I mean, that kid blowing, he got money, a new house, because he was living in like a Winnebago and shit, man. Like, you know,
I think she turned around.
Connects everybody.
She did a kind of a video to him, I think, right after that too. I saw it wasn't necessarily anything huge.
Shit, I would too. Hell, you raise my stock up in my product on some viral video, man, you gonna get some chunks.
We got Sarah in the house. Sarah, where are you? What happened? Oh,
that's it.
Uh-oh.
She got that Comcast internet. Shout out to Comcast overcharging folks. You know what I'm saying? They be hitting me last 3 months in a row. You're dedicated. Yeah, don't you know I got about 4 kids and me on it, you know what I'm saying? Online, virtual school and shit. Of course. I feel sorry for the little people if I'm going over the fucking cap.
Don't you know how much work you used to put in for them? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, for real.
That is insane,
be the Comcast cowboy.
I mean, I pay for the shit. It's top notch. I'm just too lazy to do all that streaming and shit. Like, I got home security. Like, I got the whole shit. You know what I mean? So anytime anything comes out, speaking of which, Game of Streams, you know what I mean, on Comcast, ESPN Plus and Disney Plus getting ready to hit Comcast. So anybody that got Xfinity right now, X1, that's going to be hitting by April. You know what I mean?
Shit, we've got them all. They're all connected to something else now at some point. Now it's almost like you have to disconnect your cords and then plug them back into different ports now to get those fucking deals. But I don't know, man. I know that Comcast is killing us.
Baltimore got a suit against them now because they are already raising the shit on folks. You know what I'm saying? Going over them caps like what we're talking about here. You know, folks just pay it, and some folks call in and willingly. You know what I mean? They say fuck it and cut the shit off. But I mean, hell, we need it now. Everybody sitting at home. You ain't got internet. Shit. How long can you go without no internet?
Yeah, that's great. There's no way. There's no way you can't get around it, dude. We're trying to cut the cord, but then we're afraid the internet cord is going to go. The price is going to go higher because of it. They want you to bundle like that shit.
That's why Comcast know they bully market. You know what I'm saying? They know they got the hottest shit in the game. You know what I'm saying? You got CenturyLink up here. If everybody remembers, CenturyLink Stadium in Seattle has now been renamed Lumen Field because Lumen Technologies now.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a rebrand strategy, but because CenturyLink was garbage, because that's why I was able to make money because Comcast got the superior product, but they're bully marketing folks because they know that you're not going to leave and go nowhere else. You're going to have to play some stupid game with us, some other lesser company.
Yeah, they just straight up told me, go ahead and disconnect if you want. You're going to pay us. You're going to pay us anyway. So,
yeah, it's a double game, man.
Sarah, what's up? You're getting a little bit of a delay. If you're rolling on your house Wi-Fi, that's definitely going to be an issue. Oh, it looks like you cleaned up. How do we join? I just put the link up here. If you scroll up a little bit, built different group and cultivating with the Cannabis Cowboy posted that just a little bit higher.
It's the built difference with a P. You know what I'm saying?
Bill, no, not the one with the P.
Bill, did you happen to see what happened to our group?
No.
So this built different group that BG has sort of like pioneered and championed that was part of something else that he was doing, Legacy Group. He's doing it to sort of bring a bunch of different podcasters and stuff together. And recently it was something else, and he just rebranded it probably, I'd say maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe. Something like that. And just all of a sudden there's this brand new, and I wish I had it. I don't think I have it right here, but just somebody completely stole all the imagery, but spelled it like this. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. It was just some weird built different, and it was just 999 people from, I'm guessing, somewhere in the Middle East. And it was just fucking hilarious. And it really, I don't know, it's just one of those weird things because I haven't been doing this for very long where I'm saying to myself, I understand why somebody would steal a page and somebody's imagery, but there's absolutely nothing on that person's page that has anything to do with podcasting, Dallas Cowboys, networking, whatsoever. If anything, it's just like a picture of him and his kid. It's real fucking weird, man.
Well, no, what they did was
he's had about 4 or 5 of them do the same thing with him.
Yeah, no, I covered it in an article. I wrote about it and got them screenshots in there of the built difference. You know what I'm saying? With the E over there. But that's what this following here for everybody that supports us does. It supports us and let us know that was a regular personal page, and that should be a flag number 1. If somebody friends you, hit your inbox talking about, have you heard the good news about this $1,000? Well, man, come on, if you falling for that type of shit, man, like you really sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
I got one of those today.
Sarah, what's going on? Do we have you right now? Got the delay.
She got the headphones on, so I think she got to take them headphones off.
I don't know. Maybe we actually might get an echo because of it. No, definitely the video chat. You're in as a spectator right now, but if you wanted to actually get in, just go up a little bit higher and click that one and copy and paste it into your browser. You'll be able to get to us. Yeah, we can't hear you say anything, Sarah. And maybe because you do have the headset in, and maybe your microphone is muted. Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
She got that built difference.
She's been digital duped.
She's been digitally duped, man.
Love it.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. I can't wait. I can't wait till shows come back, man. My brother and I had tickets to some awesome concerts this year, and then just the last one just finally kind of fell off, and I don't know, man. That's really the terrifying thing on the horizon, because we have to get to a point where we can trust that everyone in the crowd with us has done something to make sure that they are staying safe. And until you can trust everybody, I don't know how to concentrate.
Man, look. All that shit sounds great, but the real fact of the matter is, if we can all pack our ass inside a fucking airplane for 5 to 6 hours and go from coast to coast, you know what I mean? We know what it's about.
Well, actually, air filtration systems on airplanes are a lot better than you in your house, to be honest with you. As long as they're wearing their masks, you'll be fine. So I can see us wearing masks for another year at concerts if we're allowed back in.
Yeah, that would definitely have to be. And I would be okay with that. I mean, as much as it sucks, I would be fucking totally okay with that. I mean, it would be.
That's gonna have to be a built different look, man. You know what I'm saying? All the way around.
They're going to be throwing up in their masks, which is going to be pretty funny. But there's going to be some comedy involved in that, I think. But yeah, man. So anyway,
maybe they'll sell a lot of them kind of masks you got over there. You know, Casually Serious podcast.
Do we still have that here, man? You got to give a shout out to the Resin Grill respirators, man. These guys, man.
Oh,
they know what's up, man. They're built different.
You know somebody at that company? Because I ordered 3 and haven't gotten any yet.
Yes, I do, and that's why we're all laughing right now. We'll get them to you ASAP, I promise.
I'm laughing because I'm like, why the fuck did I'm a pretty smart dude. I'm like, why didn't I think of that, man?
Same thing with the CBD mouth guard.
Oh yeah, good shit.
100%, man. Just letting it flow through your body, biting into it. It's insane, man. It is 100% insane, dude. But I mean, hey, if you guys want to keep chilling, man, we can, dude. I mean, I don't necessarily have a
man. Look, I'm chilling. You in the driver's seat, baby.
You're right. I guess I can just turn the car off whenever I want. I don't necessarily want to do that. Simon, what's up, man? That was a messed up an imposter. You were the last person I had to tell to get off of the friends list too, because you were still a friend of them. I was like, the fuck is Simon doing, man? With the built's different, man.
No, we talked about that, man. How I went live and was ranting about it, and then put an article together, and then you and I came on later to do the attack of the Facebook frauds, which some Cowboy fans getting their damn feelings behind things. I mean, we talk about people with built difference pages, trying to scam folks, man. Fucking Cowboys, get off your own shit. You know what I mean?
That shit is killing me, man.
Right.
Well, I know that we've got at least I don't know. I saw 2 or 3 artists popping up out here in Denver. The shows are happening in small clubs. I think it's going to be up to, at least in this particular time, if the nightclub is going to make sure that they need to do what they're doing and making sure that they follow all the rules.
But if they're serving food or drink, there's a loophole.
That's true.
I mean, look at the NFL stadiums, man. They can pack almost. When I went to the home opener last year, the first COVID game, it was like, I don't know, what was it, Starboy? Like 20, we were there at the lot 10, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to hard hitters over there at lot 10, representing the home opener 4 years in a row. How many folks was up in there? About 23,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, hell, if we can get back to it, I'll be good, man. Like I said, I think it's just a matter of being locked in a room with a bunch of people. You've got to trust what they're doing, man. And I guess like you guys said, maybe if we're masked up, that would be different. Enforcement of that is really what I worry about, because I mean, you're going to have to hire the same staff that Tool has to make sure that they're not taking video and pictures. That's a tough thing to do, man. Put on your mask.
Sounds like they need to use NFL stadiums for concerts.
I should have invested in plexiglass before the epidemic. It's plexiglass everywhere.
Well, Flaming Lips.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, it's weird. I was just in Vegas a couple weeks ago, right? When I went in June of last year, shout out Planet 13. Every time I dip down there, what happens at Planet 13 happens in Vegas. Y'all know what it is. But they did the pandemic just came out. There was fucking partitions up at the tables. But shit, I stayed at Caesars when I went here last time, man, and that shit looked totally different. Like it was what pandemic?
I just went to Galveston last Friday, and they had like shower curtains installed, like little rods, just shower curtains in between every table. And I was just like, "This is what we're up to. This is where we're going to."
I've seen. I mean, what was it? Who had all the bubbles, man? Was it Ween, Bill? Who's it that had those Flaming Lips? Yeah, there you go. So they just had everybody in their own actual personal fucking bouncing bubble.
Yep.
And they were all, which I think is genius until you throw up or you got to pee or you got to shit, whatever the case may be. You're in there, like I don't know how you. And I tell you what, that might be a little terrifying too, considering you probably can't get out of wherever you are. Because how do you communicate to another ball that you need to go back down that way? You don't want to be where you are.
Don't drink no coffee before you do that shit.
Yeah, I mean, or just real good acid. I don't know. Leslie Ann, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey,
Thanks for joining.
Gang on the wire.
I finally figured it out.
Sarah was in and out. It's on phones. It's really tough. That's why I urge everybody, if you plan on becoming a part of this for the future, try and get a PC or something you can get to at least, or a laptop, anything that's going to be a little more stable. And if you can connect directly into your modem, that's 100 times better. But hey, do you have any concert experiences that you want to share with us? What was the first one you went to?
Billy Joel, actually, when I was 17, the Stormfront tour.
Born in the USA.
That's Bruce.
That's Bruce Springsteen.
Oh man, my bad.
We're kicking him out. We don't like Bruce. Bruce is out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it was remarkable. The first one. I play a little piano, and I love piano. So, yeah, he's amazing. Absolutely. Puts on a great show.
I didn't get to see him until much later. Oh, Bill.
What is that? What is that?
Before you go any further, that right there is the reason I am virtually the reason why I'm a Cowboys fan. He's 5 years older than me.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
We know.
Hey, a star has 5 points, not 4.
It's this guy.
The last time, or the only time I ever saw Billy Joel was, I think 5-6 years ago when he came with Elton John for that face-to-face show, which is pretty cool because I'd never seen either of them, and you both at the same time was pretty badass. But
That is the show I want so bad. They came to Orlando.
Orlando, nice. Oh, that's right. Sorry, you are Floridian. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Came to Orlando. I think we talked about that. I lived in Altamont Springs for a while. I worked at that Kmart overnight. That was a fucking insane job. Oh man. Woo. Crazy times in Orlando.
Sorry, guys. We only play 80s Joel here.
It's funny. My wife, the director, is a big time Billy Joel fan. And there's probably 2 or 3 that she's just like, we didn't start the fire is definitely one we are not a fan of. And some of the commercial ones that he doesn't even really like playing, but sort of has to. But
Uptown Girl.
Simon says the first concert he went to was The Who. That's right. Hey, anybody in the comments section, throw it up real quick. Let me know. Let me know what your first concert was. If you can't jump in.
What's that Lunatic? What's that song they do? Lunatic. What is it? The Who. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. They came out. GMC did a commercial with it. The Who's still relevant too. I mean, talking about the World Health Organization. You know what I mean?
The World Health Organization is better than the actual band.
Because if you want to talk about a motherfucker who was in one of the biggest rock bands in the entire world but cannot stand potheads and does not want to come to Denver because he doesn't want to have a bunch of fucking weed blown in his face, we say fuck you to Roger Daltrey and The Who, and he can eat a bowl of dick up.
Eminent Front. That's the name of it.
Eminence Front. That's actually a jam, and I believe that's
more put on.
Well, that shit rocks, man.
Yeah, I feel like that is The Who, right? That's not Pete Townsend.
It's The Who.
It's The Who, yeah.
I always want to call
World Health Organization, but The Who. You know what I mean?
That's a jam. That is the jam, dude.
It's a put on.
It's a put on. Never got to see The Who, and what's funny? Keith Moon, their drummer, was like a monster influence to a lot of drummers. I can't call him an influence because I didn't listen to any of their shit. The only reason I didn't is because the fucking Baba O'Reilly is too close to my name, and Teenage Wasteland is the chorus of that fucking song, and I really got a lot of shit for that. And basically just fuck The Who.
Yeah,
we love you anyway, Simon. We're not shitting on you, bro. You've been to concerts with us too. You've been to a couple. And I'll tell you, one of the worst concerts I've been that me and my buddy Eric B walked out of, and it could have been because of what happened as opposed to really what didn't happen. But we went to go see Ice Cube and on Miami Beach. And I don't really remember the year, but we really, really wanting to see that show. This is back before you were checking set lists. You didn't really know what they were going to play. We heard a rumor that Dre was going to be there and they were going to do Natural Born Killers. That's one of our favorite fucking songs. And we're like, let's see that shit. And so we get there, and I think Cube comes on. I think he does America's Most Wanted. endangered species. So it was obviously, I think it was maybe for the Predator tour. So it was his second or third album, but he was really doing shit from the first album, which don't worry, I love that shit. But we were hoping he was going to get into some shit. And then all of a sudden, the beat drops for Natural Born Killers. And I'm like, yeah. But it was Dub C doing Dr. Dre's part. And I was like, who is this motherfucker? Like, damn, I didn't come here to pay.
Connection.
And this is right at the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? So it was new to us, even though we kind of saw it happening on UMTV Raps and shit like that. But we started getting pretty pissed off because the beat was dope and everything, but he was doing it all wrong. It was just sort of like West Coast style, and it wasn't Dre. And then all of a sudden, it was like Ice Cube's like, all right, peace, I'm out, and just drops the shit after like 3 songs. It just goes home. And then I think we sat through like one more WC song. And we were like, fuck this. We paid like $60 for that show. One of the biggest disappointments in my entire life. I don't think I have any other shows I've been to that would be considered a disappointment. What about you, Bill?
Shit, I don't know. I've never really been disappointed in concerts. The only thing that disappoints me is if they don't play the song
right
that I came there to hear, but rarely does that happen. So I don't really have any bad concert memories at all. If I knew I was going to go, I didn't know what to expect, and it didn't bother me whatever happened, really.
Yeah, and you and I have become set list snobs anyway. So
yeah, I am.
Chances are, if we didn't know what we were going to get into, we just kind of accepted that. Anybody else here got a shit concert they've been to?
Yeah, I was supposed to go. Well, I was just going to the club, but it was the Hot Boys were there, so they upped the price. Like I think like $20 or $25 more than what they usually charge to get in. We get there and they're literally just playing pool and drinking like in the VIP section. I'm like, why did you charge me extra? Y'all didn't perform. You didn't do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't come to see you play pool. I came to actual dance and have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was walkthrough,
they played their
man.
music,
That was
they literally
walkthrough
didn't do
money.
anything.
That's walkthrough money. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
That sounds like a Miami Beach nightclub right there, dude. $25, $50 to get in. All right, what's happening? Nothing. Now you get to pay $10 a beer. Have a good fucking night.
Exactly.
I actually wrote these seats for Garth Brooks, 19, and he put on the best show. And you wouldn't think nosebleed seats, like they were like at the back of the Orlando Arena, the old arena. Like it was the best show. He performs for everybody. He is.
I've never heard a bad thing about a Garth Brooks show, and mostly because of my brother, a huge Kiss fan. That's what he models. A lot of his stage presence and a lot of his act is based on what Kiss did. That's why there's a lot of shooting shit out of guitars and all kinds of fire and stuff like that, because he was a big fan of that band. Matter of fact, he actually did a version of Hard Luck Woman on their Kiss My Ass tribute album.
Yeah, because it talks about a sailor's daughter.
Yes.
Shout out Garth Brooks, man. Speaking of, you know what I mean, Garth Brooks Boulevard. If I don't know where Garth Brooks is from, you know what I mean? I was out there working in Oklahoma, out there, Yukon, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? So it's a small world out there. I didn't know that until I went out there several times to visit the folks that I work with, you know what I mean, do a site visit. I'm like, man, I know Garth Brooks is from out here.
Yeah.
I can't get down with country, man, but I've listened to a lot of Garth Brooks, and it's pretty cool. It's just not, to me, and, I hope I don't, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. I lived in Texas for about 10 years, so I'm an honorary Texan. Just a lot of it at some point was depressing. Now, if we're talking about country I grew up hearing, not listening to, Cash and, Twitty, the old school, that kind of still resonates with me because I grew up listening to it as sort of part of growing up and, part of road trips. If you went, like we would drive from Miami to Orlando and we'd probably listen to fucking Kenny Rogers and all that, the stuff that I consider to be classic country. But anything after that, it just sounded too like
a lot of too.
Yeah, too much. Yeah, a lot, and even the modern country is
like now.
I'm only good with the country that is upbeat and talking about either drinking and enjoying life.
Man, but y'all talking about country and rap.
I don't want to hear anything about my wife left me and my dog died or my cousin Jeb took my truck. I don't want to hear any of that. Life is depressing enough already.
Yeah, I like when like Nelly collaborated with Tim McGraw a lot.
Exactly. You're talking about, you know what I'm saying, Run DMC and them. crossing lines. Now, country done it too, man. And a lot of them country folks, man, they down with that country boy. They don't like that rap country tune shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
No, that was actually the fact that it became successful and actually got off was pretty surprising to me, man. I got to be honest. That didn't seem like anything, and of course, it had a lot more to do with what you would call a clash of a culture than really a musical style. Because, I don't think either borrow elements from each other. There's not hip hop and country, and there's really not a lot of country and hip hop. But the fact that was able to actually happen was actually pretty cool. I mean, sort of lightning in a bottle.
Doesn't that little Nas X guy have like the most streamed song in history or something?
Yeah.
Is that up Old Town Road?
All kinds of. So it just like my taste varies.
And then you see, he cracked the Nelly code, and he said, "Man, shit, it's another influencer game. Who's the hottest in the game?"
Yeah.
It ain't about, I'd be totally loyal. It's more of a, the fans that say, "Oh, why they changing shit up?" You know what I mean? No, they trying to tap a new audience, man.
Yeah, there's money out there. How do you make it too? I don't understand how folks. I mean, considering the hit that everybody took with live concerts, which is the only way most bands and musical acts can make money now. You can't do it on records. Nobody fucking cares. They're getting it for free. It's definitely a big hit. What I'm afraid of is what Bill and I just talked about, spending $300 on a Misfits ticket. I'm afraid that might not be too far off from what the actual price of every concert is going to be from here on out, considering these guys haven't, whoever the band is that rely on touring, they haven't toured in a year at least.
That's why, Bob, that's why you're seeing a lot of these old classic artists selling their publishing rights. They're not making any money off album sales anymore. Streaming doesn't offer them any money. They can't tour. And they don't want to give it to their fucking kids when they die. So they might as well take the money now and spend it and not wait.
I mean, I guess buy out. That makes sense. I mean, the future is definitely uncertain.
So the message I hear is that if you're in the art, in the art business, you know what I mean? You want to keep your masters and create your own shit.
I mean, definitely. That's always been that, but that's been the hardest part of being an artist regardless. I mean, and anybody who had, there was no, I don't think business-wide, industry-wide knowledge of that for a very long time, that whole masters thing. I think one of the first times I saw it even represented in movies was Boogie Nights when they're trying to get their fucking masters back. And, they own the magic and they're fighting to get that back. But at some point, I think during the devolution, and the breakdown of the recording industry is when people started saying, shit, I wish I did have my masters, because if I, now that I can't remaster any of my shit. I can't put anything attached to any of that. And as an artist, that's even more fucked up. You're making a penny an album anyway. And then they're telling you don't have rights to your own music. That's fucking horrifying.
Well, you're
Could you
allowed
imagine them doing that?
masters now than it was 45 years ago. 45 years ago, if you wanted a record deal, you had to give them the rights to your masters for at least the first 2-3 albums.
Right.
And that's what David Geffen did. That's why David Geffen's a billionaire right now. Because when he started Asylum, he had Jackson Brown, he had the Eagles, he had all those guys, and he owned all of their master recordings because they couldn't get record deals. So they had to sue David Geffen to get the Eagles, especially had to sue David Geffen to get their masters back. And he was being nice and actually settled out of court. So the Eagles owned all their rights. But all those bands back in the day never owned their rights to their music.
And that was the way for, because there was an industry and because the record companies and labels were the ones that ran the industry, they promoted you, they gave you the deals. They had no way to, it was really one of the only other tools they could to leverage you against making the decision to sign on to them, because you were just going to make a shitload of money for them anyway. And obviously if they got your masters and you did well, then you would just continue to make a shitload of money by them releasing and re-releasing and killing your fucking record as many times as they could. And squeezing the money out of it. But I think, you're right. It had a lot more to do back then because there was an industry. Considering there isn't one, and if you're going to self-promote, then you've got your own shit anyway. I mean, I was listening to Royce da 5'9" like most people were, unsigned, and he was doing his own shit and putting his own shit out. There's no one to battle if you got masters, if you keep them in your own pocket.
Because he understood the game from the top down, and that's the thing. Now it's kind of being flipped on top of his head, where now folks have wisened up and figured out, there's even a YouTube video out there that uses a rap artist as an example. And basically, if they got paid X amount from this record company, this is what they would get, which is not shit.
Shit. Oh man. Well, shit, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me, man. I wanted to do one of these sessions. We talked about last week having the folks that are on my Patreon group being involved in it. We obviously have a couple involved in it. Some technical difficulties with one. But regardless, coming and hanging out was cool, man. This is exactly what I wanted to do. We can do this on a weekly basis. I think I'm going to kind of jump around with the date and time. So I'll just let everybody know that's involved. This is when I plan on doing it. I may do it later during the weekdays so that people can be home and relaxing and, just make sure they can put their kids away and all that good shit before they come and hang out and talk. But, shout out to everybody who came hanging out, especially my brother, obviously, Starboy, Leslie Ann, for Sarah trying to get in here. Thank you so much. For Zeus coming in at the top of the show, everybody who hung out with us in the comment section. Hey, look at me. Everybody else, the gambler, Sarah, everybody who come and hung out. I really appreciate it. And we're going to get together sometime next week. So anybody got anything you want to say before we take off?
This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Visit Diego Pellicer when you're in Denver.
Visit Diego Pellicer. We're getting a warning.
What the hell? Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
I guess it's time to go, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. Peace.
Enjoy your Sunday.